This episode of Love Looks Like This touches on the topics of bariatric surgery, weight loss and gain, body dysmorphia, Weight Watchers, depression, suicidal ideation, and bullying. Viewer discretion is advised. This isn't about my titties. It's about humanity's titties. For being real here.
All them titty pics.
All them titty pics.
Little toesies are funny.
Yeah, I should start an OnlyFans for him. Welcome to the Love Looks Like This project. My name is Sara Margaret. I am a 27-year-old empowerment artist based in Delaware, and my favorite food is buffalo wings.
My name is also Sara, without an H, and I am 29, turning 30 this year. I am a current science, regulatory, and advocacy manager, so I work as an environmental scientist, and my favorite food currently is jalapenos. Just throw them on anything.
Plain jalapenos. I love it. I love like pickled jalapenos because I feel like
those are far superior.
And we are here to talk about bodies and how it's an act of rebellion to love the one that you have. So your job is being a writer for a science-y thing. It's a new job, so I'm still learning exactly what you do, but I know you write about science stuff. If you were describing yourself in a way other than your profession, like how would you introduce yourself?
I am a woman on a self-love journey. I feel like it's been the past couple years that I've started this journey. So I'm still very fresh into it, but I'm finally feeling like I'm figuring out who I am and what I want to do with my life. And kind of learning to love my body has been a part of that. So I think that is really kind of key in like my development lately. But aside from that, I'm a fur baby mama. And I love, writing, photography, reading. So kind of indulging my passions as much as possible.
Love it. Photography, dog mom who's working on loving herself. Yes. Honestly, same. Yeah. We're so similar. Basically the same. All right, sir. It's time.
No.
Can you hang out? This is time to hang out in your bed.
This is your bed.
Thank you. Okay, so really quick, when I ask you about your body, what are the first 3 words that pop into your head?
The first thing my mind wants to say is ew, because that's my initial, I don't know, it's just been ingrained in me for like so long. So like I have to pause because that's not what I want to say and that's not like where I currently am. But initial thought is ew. But second thought, I don't know, is kind of more so like it's my home. Like this is where I live, and I'm learning to love it in every shape and form that it has taken. So kind of home, safe. It's starting to feel safe. Yeah. Again, it's a journey, so it hasn't always, definitely not always been safe. But my home, my safe place, and my place of comfort that I'm, again, learning to love.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, initially, because, like, the first thing that we think is, like, what... I feel like the first thing that you think is what you've been told to think, and then the second one is what you choose to think. Correct. So, I mean, I've heard this described in, like, people who, initially, when they see someone, if they think something, like, rude about them or something, but then they're like, no. That is not what I actually think. And I think that can impact the way we think about ourselves too, for sure.
Definitely. How you're meant to see the world is not what you've always been taught how to see the world.
Yeah, and that plays into a question I have later on. So how would you described it a little bit when I asked about, like how you describe yourself. What is your current relationship with your body, and how does that compare to your historical relationship with your body?
Definitely vastly different.
Yeah, good. And that is good, because I know what your historical relationship has been.
Yeah, historically, good God. I never loved myself in absolutely any form. Just like no matter what I was wearing, what I was doing, what I weighed, how I treated my body, didn't matter. I could be taking amazing care of it, or I could be taking shit care of it. It did not matter. Any and all thoughts about my body were, it is disgusting, just no matter what. So I feel like, again, these last few years, I've just finally been like, well, regardless of what it looks like, I'm stuck in this thing. So I kind of just had to sit there with myself for a little bit and say, okay, like this is where we are. This might not where we ideally want to be, but like you have to have some sort of self-acceptance, whether you necessarily even love it or not, at that point in time. So I kind of just said, you know what? I'm stuck in here and I need to start to value my body. And so, you know, more lately, you know, I'm not necessarily looking at a number on the scale, but I'm trying to just be healthy and happy, regardless of what that number ends up saying.
Yeah,
you know?
And you are on a very specific journey with weight, because this is round 2 of bariatric surgery.
It is, yeah.
Because your first one was during a very interesting time in the universe, 2020, super fun.
Yeah, my first journey, so I had bariatric surgery, had a lot of health concerns, you know, my surgeon recommended it, and I said, okay, you know, this could be good for me, and oh my gosh, who doesn't want to be thinner? You know, that was one of, right? You know? So I started that journey, lost over 100 pounds. My 1-year anniversary was like right when COVID hit, and that's where you're at like the most risk of like regain.
Yeah,
so
falling back on the wagon.
Welcome COVID, welcome, you know, lots of deep, dark, depressing thoughts and maybe some drinking. And things didn't go well. So I gained back all 100 pounds. And, you know, that was also depressing, you know, to like see myself, yay, I like accomplished all this. And then it kind of just like within a few months, like just went down the drain. So that was very key in my self-love journey, actually, but very depressing at the time, to kind of, again, have to sit with myself and say, okay, here we are. And so more recently, this January, I ended up going back and getting a revision surgery. Again, mostly health-related, not necessarily just, I want to be skinny, you know, but
there
I want to...
easier ways to do that. Considering
cutting out 95% of my stomach was not the easy way out.
Not top of your list, especially with we were up to 6 hospital visits, correct?
6
One of them being
complications.
12 days. That's a crazy amount of time to be in the hospital.
So for anyone who says bariatric surgery is the easy way out, it is 100% not. Because you have to change your whole lifestyle. You have to literally change what, when, and how you eat and drink, literally all the time. You know, so and you can have complications like blood clots and pulmonary embolisms, and have to be on blood thinners and give yourself shots twice a day and be on other medications 4 times a day that interact with all of your other medications and food. I mean, it has been a real rough journey. But I think it's been so important in how I'm loving my body, because I'm seeing my body in so many different forms and ways, you know, like I've gone from, you know, I started dating my husband when I was like 150, and then he saw me all the way up to like 300, you know, like he's been with me throughout the evolution of my body, and it's kind of been nice because I have someone who has loved me regardless of what I look like, so it's trying to help me love me regardless of how I look like, you know, so even if I go back to my, you know, like college weight of 150, my body is still going to look nothing like that though, because I have scars and stretch marks, and my boobs are sagging, and the skin is still here. But, you know, even with my little things, you know, I'm like starting to appreciate it, you know, because it's been with me through so much.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I feel like we don't think about a lot. It's like, oh, what does it look like? But it's like, we also need to think about, like, what can your body do? Like, it's done, like, a lot of really cool stuff. Like, it's also done really annoying stuff, like with you getting in the hospital 6 times. But it's also gotten you through those things, because maybe if you had a different body, like, you wouldn't have made it through those things.
Correct.
Like,
it's grown, it's healed, it's stretched and shrank, and it's done all sorts of stuff.
Because you're down, you said, I saw your post, like 60 pounds now?
Just right around there. I keep teetering around that.
And I know lifestyle changing and everything, you have water in that cup, and I know you hate drinking water. So.
Yay.
But you're working on it.
I am. It's a process.
Yes.
It's all a process.
Yes. So another thing I like to ask, because I have worked on this concept with a therapist who is like, maybe you shouldn't be doing it that way. So on the continuum of like how you perceive your body to it's me versus my body to my body is a part of me, like where on that continuum do you see yourself?
I'd say historical Sarah was 100% me versus you. 100% all the way. And I'm like almost 100% in the opposite direction now. 180. Yeah, I feel like I have to work together with my body, again, especially on like my strict nutritional plan. You know, it's like, we gotta make this work. You know, we need to... Can I boop you?
Yes.
Ah! You are so cute. I didn't know if he would like the booping concept.
No, he puts up with it because I do it.
Oh my god. You're distracting me.
Yeah.
But I, again, like on my nutritional journey currently, like I have to work with my body at every step of the way and especially listen to it.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, I feel like I have a bad history of also like ignoring symptoms, you know? So I know one of my husband's favorite stories to tell about me is that literally for years I had really bad acid reflux. I thought it was normal for people to throw up in their mouth all the time.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that was part of like, okay, I'm like digesting or something. Like
a really instrumental part of the digestive process.
I literally thought it was normal to like literally have pain and like burning acid in your mouth. And you know, one day I went to get an endoscopy before my first surgery and they're like, oh, have you ever had like acid reflux? And I'm like, I don't think so. Or, you know, or they called it heartburn. So I'm thinking like literally my heart feels like it's burning. So I was like, no, I don't think so. Got the endoscopy and I literally ended up aspirating into my lungs because I had such bad acid reflux and I got pneumonia and sepsis and could have died. And I just literally had to sit back and say, Sarah, we need to listen to the signs our body tells us.
Yep.
You know, so again, on this bariatric journey, I had to listen to myself when I said, wow, there's a lot of pain in my leg and I can't walk. There's a blood clot in there.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't breathe and haven't been able to breathe for the last few hours. Maybe we need to go to the doctor, you know? So,
yeah.
Now I'm like super like, uh-oh, my belly's cramping a little bit. Like, do I need to be concerned or, you know, is it just digesting this time? You know, so I think, again, being in tune with your body, listening to what it needs, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally, just all of it is like just super crucial.
Especially with your stomach now being so small, you have to listen to fullness. Because I know I have very much struggled with that in the past, whether that was in my anorexia days where I didn't listen if it was starving, or when on the other hand, I was also struggling a lot with food during the pandemic because, you know, I would binge eat, which is like very common to do that flip-flop.
Correct.
Because it's all part of like, so I would just keep eating and eating because I liked the taste of it, and then I would feel sick and gross, and I'm just like, oh, why do I feel like this? I was like, oh, it's because you're not listening to your stomach at all. Good work, Sarah.
Yeah.
So I'm with that. All right, are we done with the...
Ooh, out of the bed. Oh, splat.
You want my coffee. I'm assuming that's what you're looking for, but you can't have that. I'm so sorry. I really hate to say that. So now that we've talked about a little bit, like getting the background, and your current fun little journey of yay hospitals. So if we're talking more historical, let's like dive into that a little bit. What was the first moment you like consciously remember like an external force playing a part in the way you perceived like your own body? If it was like magazines in the early 2000s or your uncle said a weird comment, or like what was like the first thing you remember, or like maybe one of the most influential ones you remember?
Sure. I mean, I would say I have random memories of, you know, like elementary school. I feel like that's when I first started having actual like weight issues. So I had been, you know, initially like tall and skinny until third grade. So it was third grade hit. And I think, you know, if I had to, you know, refer back to my therapy sessions about these concepts, my best friend moved away and my sister left for college. Like that.
Yes, because there was like a massive gap between
siblings.
You were very much the baby.
I'm the baby. Yeah. So my sister was going off to college and I was just going into third grade. And she had always kind of been like, you know, like she babysat me all the time, really took care of me. So I think like her leaving just like created this emotional burden on me that I didn't even know how to describe. And so I just ate. You know, I just ate food and also ate, like, not good foods. You know, it's like my go-tos growing up, and honestly, if I could still, I would. Cheese balls and mac and cheese. I mean, if I could just eat those orangey foods all day, that's what I would do. And I did. I mean, that's what I did. I'm always a very, very picky eater, and those were my comfort foods. So I would get the entire jug of cheese balls. and eat it in one
Well, that was
sitting.
like your dinner, though, because I know your mom did not, I mean, you had to start feeding yourself, like, very, very early on. I do know that, and that's, like, hard to do. I remember growing up, my mom is, like, the best cook I know, and, like, I would go to other people's houses, and I'm like, what do you mean this is dinner? Like, like, I thought everyone just grew up with, like, you know, impeccable
gourmet meal.
cooking, but that is not the case.
No.
So I know that was an issue, because, like, and another thing that was in my household, this is like not the time. Another thing in my household was like we all have to eat dinner together. Like that is like a major thing. Like we have to sit down. We have to. I mean, back in those days, we didn't have phones. I didn't have a phone. I was till 17. But like if that was the case, no phones at the table. Like we're sitting down talking about
family
our day.
time.
This is family time.
Yeah.
And I know that was not the case for you at all, especially. Because then not only was it transitioning you not having your big sister anymore, but you were the only child at that point, which was obviously vastly different than there being 5 kids in the house.
Yeah. I mean, I remember some family dinners, like when it was all 5 of us. But once my sister left and then my other brother graduated, I mean, it was like being an only child for the majority of like my developmental years, despite having 4 siblings. You know, it's like a very
which is a very big difference.
Yeah. And then we did not have those, you know, like sit down meals as much. You know, my mom would cook maybe once or twice a week, and it would be like hamburger and macaroni casserole. Maybe. So that was definitely interesting. But I think like starting in 3rd grade, that's when my body started to change. And I think definitely as soon as I hit middle school, like, you know, 6th grade, going into middle school and having to change. Definitely. Puberty was not fun. Yay. And having to change like in the locker room for gym.
Oh my gosh.
To me, that is the first thing that comes to mind of like when I first started to like really compare bodies and then think of my own. And I just remember, like, I've always felt like my body shape is not conducive to, like, you know, the unisex t-shirts and, like, the boxy shorts and, like, stuff like that. So I just...
did you have specific clothes
to wear? Yes, they gave you
okay.
the Rosa Parks Middle School shirt and the silver shorts with the dolphin on them. So it was
that sounds hot.
super attractive. And, really great if you had curves whatsoever.
Fantastic.
Just really...
Love that for you.
So I remember just being in the locker room and, like, trying to figure out, like, okay, can I, like, change, like, super duper fast? Could I, like, go into the bathroom and then, like, come back out? Like, I just remember feeling so much pressure and anxiety, like, around changing in the locker room. And, like, sometimes I'd try to, like, wait till, like, most people left and then try to change or, I don't know. I just, again, remember, like, middle school. That is the moment when I was like, I don't look like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
That's so interesting you say that. I haven't never thought about that, but like I, you know, did cross country and I did like musicals and like I did have to change in front of a lot of people and I haven't thought about that in a while, but that's definitely something that fucked me up a little bit, like especially like when I'm a very tall person. I'm 6 feet tall. My husband will say 5'11" and a half because he likes to feel a little bit closer to me. Whatever.
All right, Justin.
But I'm going to say 6 feet because I'm actually the shortest of my sisters, so I have to at least be 6 feet.
Yeah.
But, so I obviously stood out in that way, but I, like, in my head, I conflated being super tall with being fat for some reason. So when I did cross country and there were these teeny tiny little, very, very fast, I internalized that as well, especially in that changing. And I remember middle school too, like, I didn't wear a bra for a very long time because, like, they're a bit fat
either!
So, like, all these other girls are, like, putting on bras and I'm like... like, I know what you, like, no, it's,
that's a whole nother level of discomfort. Yeah, like, I don't even know why. Why did I not wear bras for a very long time? I don't know, but I remember being in the locker room and, like, trying to just, like, throw on a shirt and, like, not have my nipples out, and someone made a comment one day, they're like, why don't you wear a bra? And I don't even know what I said, but it was just like, just icky feelings. I don't like locker rooms. I don't. Oof. Also,
do you remember bra shopping, like with your mom, or like when did you get your?
I think we went to like Kmart. Yeah.
Classy.
And then I also got the Tweety Bird underwear that had the days of the week on it.
Hot.
Yes. I was actually like super pumped about those. Oh, middle school. Yeah.
So fun.
Those were really good. Yeah, but oh god. Oh. I don't know. This is bringing up a lot of not good memories. Don't take me back to middle school ever.
Yeah, sorry. No, I also remember another cross country related one, like looking at my legs when I was outside, and I was like, oh my god, I need to shave my legs. My legs just don't look like everyone else. It's because I never thought about that before.
Exactly.
But you don't think
the
about
whole
it.
body hair thing. It's like, why is this becoming a thing? You know, it's like, let me not worry about this for a few years. But then it's like, all of a sudden you're in there and you're wearing shorts and like...
You don't see it until, It's like that exact, like, Bob's Burgers episode where Tina, like, talks about, like, she goes and serves... I mean, I can relate anything to Bob's Burgers. But she goes up to take the order of, like, girls from her school, and they're like, did you see that girl's legs? They were so hairy, so gross. Get a razor. And then she, like, looks down at her legs, and she's like, when did you get there? Because she didn't notice that she had leg hair.
What?
So,
yeah. That's that moment. Yeah, it's like you don't think it's a thing until people start... making it a
pointing
thing.
It out,
it's like, oh, wait, okay, I need to, then you have those traumatic things of, like, going and finding, like, your dad's razor in the thing and, like, Nair that your sister had and attempting to remove all this stuff, and it just all goes terribly.
Oh,
like, it's just it's a bad experience.
No, and, like, I feel like all these current people growing up with, like, TikTok and everything, like, everyone has a skincare routine. I'm like, you're 12. Why do you have a skincare routine?
I was lucky if I showered half the time. Like,
like, I just like within the last 6 months, my skincare routine is washing my face in the shower, and I have like that micellar water stuff, and then I put lotion on. Yeah. That is it.
I'm at the lotion step. I got some lotion. That's where we're at.
Go. You know, honestly.
Like, hopefully in the shower some water hits it. And then I put some lotion and I feel okay.
But yeah, exactly.
that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Oof. No, I just... Oof. Yeah. No, I'm with you on... Oh,
yeah, middle school was just terrible. Also, there was a really kind of traumatic bullying incident where this girl in the locker room, like, was talking to me and, like, you know, being the fake, nice, popular girl thing, classic, and went home, and on AIM that night, she messaged me and somehow convinced me to, like, go weigh myself and then report to her daily how much I weighed.
What?
And why did I do it? I don't know. Yeah. No, I still remember her. Follow her on Facebook still. She just got married. Yeah, no, it's really like...
Wow.
And again, it wasn't like outward bullying of like, wow, you're fat. Like, you know...
Like, she didn't like...
Yeah,
but, like,
I don't... I think but she like told people like what I weighed. Yeah. Like, again, she was like one of like the main popular girls, and she was like telling other people what I weighed, which was obviously more than them. So, yeah. But... It was very traumatic. Again, I think it was, like, more traumatic because it wasn't just, like, hey, you're fat. Like, it was it was this weird, like, she was helping me and, like checking in with me. It was weird. It was not a good time. God. And again, I feel like that's such, like, a pivotal moment, like, when you're first learning about, like, what your body is and what it's doing and changing and growing. And then it's, like, to have other people manipulate. Ugh.
Yeah, that is so gross.
It was gross.
Yeah, no, honestly, it would be... Time. Like, I mean, obviously it'd be horrible if she was like, oh, you're so fat. Like, but, like, then it's like okay, she's saying that about me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that about me. But then, like, making you think about it every single day, like, that's...
It was traumatic.
Fucking insane.
That's probably why I still almost weigh myself daily. Like,
do you still do that?
Since, like, middle school, almost every day of my life.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had to get rid of scales in my house. I was like, I just can't do it. It's not... And, like, I have started at the doctor's, like, saying, like, no, I don't.
Don't show you.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to know. Like, because it's just, like, not. Yeah. I don't need to know. Like, I have recently, because I have been losing weight, like, a relative, like, just because I'm, like, walking more and, like, drinking less. Also, with the drinking less.
That'll do
it. Very good. I'm actually eating 3 meals a day, which is... Because, again, like, in high school, I was like, oh, I'm just, like, not going to eat, like, you know, lunch and breakfast. But, like, now that I am eating, it's, like, stabilizing. But I'm not, like, trying to do anything. But, so, that is, like, the most recent time I've weighed myself. But, like, when I would have to fill out, like, psychiatry things, like, online, it's like, what's your weight? I'm like, I don't fucking know, and I don't want to know. Like, why does it matter? But, I mean, probably for, like, medication and stuff, but, like, still, I want to think about it. And, like, my doctor, the first time I went to primary care, I hadn't been since I, like, had a, like, pediatrician. Like, whoa. You know, my, Rabbit had an optometrist, but I didn't have a primary care doctor, which pretty much says everything you need to know about me.
Says a lot.
That says a lot about me. I was like talking to her about like the issues I was having, like arthritis and like that kind of stuff, because I was like, I want to get checked for that because like my entire family has it, and I think like I'm having this symptom. And then she was like, well, I want to talk about like, you know, getting you to a healthy weight. And I'm like, I just like burst into tears. And she was like, I feel like I touched on something that is like making you uncomfortable.
Really?
I'm like, oh,
you think?
And so like she was after that like very accommodating. She's like, I'm so sorry, like I said that, I shouldn't have, blah blah blah. But I'm like, I feel like you shouldn't be saying that to anyone, because like, you know, I wasn't going in there like, if someone is like, you know, to a point where it's like, okay, yes, like, you know, they're 700 pounds, like yes, like, but I wasn't like at a point where it was like that was clearly impacting like every single health thing that I was experiencing. And like, yes, you know, like it is a balance, but like maybe that's not the first thing.
That should have been the way she approached it, at least. You know, like there's a way to go about it. And also, I feel like a lot of doctors put a number on a healthy weight, which is probably where she was like approaching it from. She's like, oh, you're X amount, but for your height, you need to be this. Like, I do not agree with like the BMI charts and all that crazy stuff.
Because like if you're like, completely and utterly jacked, like you'll probably weigh
the
same that I do.
Muscle mass versus fat
and we're
content.
Not the same. Like I'm not jacked. I'd love to be, but like I'm not jacked. But like they could be the same height as me and weigh the same as me, but they're like in the best shape of their lives. So
I think that's all so superficial. Like that's not the way to approach it. I feel like there's a way to approach it of like getting you to a place of being the most healthy you can.
But and I do feel better. Like I do feel better, but like also now being on medications that are helpful is more helpful, and doing the stretches I need to do, which if we had just been like, we'll deal with your stuff after you lose weight, like there's just so many horror stories of people, of, you know, especially women, like you know, I'm in incredible pain like during my period, blah blah blah, and they're like, oh, well, lose weight, and then they lose weight, and it's like, oh, you had a tumor on your ovaries. It's like, oh, great.
Exactly.
Thank
I feel
you
like
so much.
They love to go for like certain diagnoses or easy fixes when it's like you're not looking at my whole picture or me as a whole being. You know.
Did you feel like that was happening at all, like when you were having those issues in the hospital, or did you feel like they were really? I mean, it was pretty much a very, like, oh, it's probably because of the surgery. So it's like pretty easy to connect.
For that one, at that point in time, you know, I have a really great surgical team and a lot of wonderful surgeons that, like, always checked in with me, messaged me, called me still, you know, they're, like, very invested in my healthcare, which is
That's awesome.
Really, really great. But I've had, like, past experiences that were traumatically terrible. I mean, so I've been on a journey of, you know, generally involving weight loss for many, many years. You know, I've done, you know, the different diets and the weight loss shots and the appetite suppressant pills and, you know, gone to other specialists, and, you know, it never was working with me, you know, to actually accomplish anything. And one of the times I was sent to a rheumatologist, and I like went in there and I was like, hey, I'm having these health issues, and, you know, I've been trying to lose weight and it hasn't been working, and I'm trying to figure out just like how to be healthier. You know, that's the main goal. It wasn't necessarily always just number-based, but, like, I need to do something. Like, I'm at a point where, like, my weight is impacting other things. And he just goes, well, you know, you're going to always be fat unless you do this exact thing and work out on this exact exercise bike. And I'm like, what? Like, he was just this very, like, crotchety old man, didn't want to listen to anything I actually had to say about, like, my health problems or anything. He was just like, you need to do this to not be fat. And I was just like, what?
Oh,
that is not what I'm here for, you know? And I'm like, also, you're a rheumatologist. You're not even like a nutritionist or like dietitian. Like, what?
Yeah, that's like not
Stay in your lane, sir.
Stay in your lane, sir. Can I? Oh. Thank you.
So during high school, very, very dark time for me. Again, I feel like I was like triggered and very traumatic from like my middle school experiences, got to high school, was trying to change my body in mostly unhealthy ways. And I just got to a point where I was like severely depressed. And I happened to find this lovely writing sample that I believe is about 10th grade for me that I wrote. And for some reason, it's titled Epilogue.
Oh,
why?
Don't like that.
I don't know. But the only title I've got is Epilogue, so we'll go with that. So it says, I sit up and let the wind rush around me. It's fall, my favorite time of year. Still is. I look down off the side of the roof that I often sit on and stare at the cold pavement. I debate how much it would hurt to land on and decide against it. I settle for climbing through my window and making a dive for my bed. I land on the ground after grasping for something, anything, to keep me from falling. But I land hard and split my lip on the bed's edge. I go to the bathroom and flip on the light. There I am, I say to myself as I stare into the spotted mirror. I sigh and dab my lip off with a wet washcloth. I go to leave, but pause and look back at myself. My hair's a mess, my makeup is smeared, and I'm dressed in oversized clothes. I look disgusting, and trust me, I am disgusted. I flip off the light hastily and return to my room. I shut the door with an urgent bang and sit down against the wall and cross my legs. I have to make a change.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it ended on that note, though.
Yes.
Because it could have ended on the epilogue note of, yes, no, I really like that it ended that way because, yeah, we can't, like, keep feeling that way, like, especially with mental health. It's, like, it's just so sad. Like, I mean, it's, like, mental health addiction, it's, like, when, I mean, it fucking sucks to try and get better. Like, it absolutely sucks. But it's, like, if you're not going to try to, like, help yourself out of it, like, there's nothing anyone can do. And it's, like, oh, it sucks so hard, and it hurts so hard, and it's so much work, and it's not going to work initially. But, like, if someone has lost that will to, like, go to therapy, go to inpatient, go to outpatient, and, like, there's, you know, there's so many different societal things, like, you know, healthcare, blah, 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 like, all that stuff. But if someone isn't going to
you have to do the work.
Try to work towards it, it's, like, no one else can do anything.
Exactly.
But, so I'm very glad it ended on that one.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like with my mental health journey, there have been many, many ups and many, many downs, you know, so luckily, yeah, this had some hope at the end.
Yes, good.
This was not the, you know, there were more dips after this, definitely, but, you know, kind of seeing that, you know, it kind of, like, brought me back into that headspace of, like, again, looking in the mirror, feeling disgusted, feeling like there was nothing I could do, but wanting to do something. Yeah. I didn't necessarily know what that was at the time, but, like...
again, like, internet, like, you're going right on Google and be like, what are the resources if I'm super depressed as a 10th grader? What do I do? Like, wasn't there. But just knowing, having that knowledge of, like, okay, I do want to try. It's not always going to feel like this, but I know it's going to be really, really hard to make it not feel like this.
Yeah. Again, that active decision, like, it comes down to you, you know, deciding to go back into the window, not the other option. Deciding I don't want to live like that forever. You know, like, again, you need to buy in, or else, you know, you could have other people, like, if they happen to notice that you're depressed and anxious, which they majority of the time do not, they could tell you 1,000 times, like, oh, you're great, oh, there's so much to live for, but that does not matter until you can say that.
Until you accept it, or until you have hope that it could feel like that. Because it's like...
I'm not there yet, but I want to be.
I do know at some point I will feel like it is possible to, like, I don't know, I don't feel that way right now, but I know if I do the work, if I do the meds, if I do the everything, it could happen for me. And it takes way more time than it should. It'd be nice if it worked immediately.
The magical pill or magical therapy session and everything is good. Yeah, no, not quite.
It was just, I was talking with my friend and helping, because I did inpatient, outpatient 7 years ago at this point, and they were just starting their beginning of, like, the medical side of the mental health journey, and I really wanted to say, like, it gets better immediately. Like, it does get better immediately, but it doesn't get to a point, like, I'm finally this year, like, I feel like I can do stuff, and I understand myself. I didn't want to say, hey, it's probably going to be another 7 years before I get there.
Yeah, because that's a little discouraging, you know, to hear that right away. But
upsetting. But I'm like, if you don't start it now, 7 years is going to pass anyway. So,
7 more years of being miserable, or 7 years of working on yourself.
So, and I am very, very happy she started with a longer program than I did, and I, like, cannot believe the difference between months ago and now. It's, like, crazy. So, very glad she is, seems to be doing better than me more quickly. So,
everybody's journey is different, though. So I feel like you have to accept where you are and however long it takes you, and not have super high expectations, because it's...
no matter how frustrating it is.
It's a bumpy road.
Yeah, it is. Am I thinking of someone else, or did you also go to Weight Watchers with your mom?
With my dad.
With your dad?
Yes,
okay.
yeah. So that was like the pivotal moment in 9th grade. You know, got to high school, was still having all that trauma from middle school. And I was like, you know what? Like, I am miserable. Like, I hate my body. I hate the way I look, no matter what I do. At the time, I had tried, you know, purging a lot. So that was part of my attempted weight loss journey, was a lot of purging, but also a lot of binge eating. And it just, you know, obviously nothing was working, you know? Yeah. So I was just like, I'm fed up with this. And my dad, he's also struggled with his weight, pretty much all his adult life. So I've always blamed him for my fat back because that's where I got it from. And so we went to Weight Watchers together, and like the concept was actually really great. Like, you know, we just went to like this little community center downtown, got the little check-ins, people shared their own journeys. So like that part was like really, really nice. And it also was pretty like instantly gratifying because like I remember dropping like 50 pounds in 9th grade in like not that many months, like definitely less than a year. And so I was like, wow, like, oh my God, look at me go, you know? But it also wasn't super sustainable. So like it worked and then it didn't work. And I fell back into bad habits. And then I started binge eating. And then I started, you know, it just, it never was like a sustainable process for my body. But, you know, it worked a little bit. And then it's once I got to college, I had been so like hell-bent on like being fit. I would go to the gym like multiple times a week sometimes. Got, you know, some people in my dorm to go with me, and it was like really great, but I still just always felt like so much fatter than my roommate and my suite mates. And I look back at pictures and I'm like,
girl, you thought what?
What? Like, I guess it's just, again, that perception of like 150 pounds when your roommate's like just over 100 feels like the end of the world. Yeah. You know, it's like, like I'm so much more than like 50 pounds. Like that's end all be all, like disgusting, you know? And so it kind of took me to be like, shit, I want to go back to being 150 pounds, you know? Perspective is quite amazing. Just looking back at pictures of college life and being like, yeah, you weren't fat. You wasted so much time and energy hating yourself. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I was just like, I could have been doing so many other things. I would have been so productive if I took that energy of hating myself so intensely.
It's so much energy.
It's so much. You know, it's just like every waking moment of like, what am I going to wear? How am I going to feel comfortable in a space? Sitting in a chair, feeling like you take up too much space, like in the world is like really uncomfortable.
No. And I feel the same way because then I was coming out of high school way too skinny, and then I wasn't running 9 miles a day because what psychopath wants to run 9 miles a day?
Good Lord, I've never run 9 miles in my life, I don't think.
And so in college I was like, ugh, I do feel gross, but then I look back at the college pictures and I'm like, oh what? Like stop yourself. Yeah. But no, we just waste so much time and energy, like, and because I am like neurodivergent, it's like I only have so many like brain spoons. I am not wasting them anymore. I'm like worrying about like what I look like, and like this is the most effort I've put into my appearance like in years. Because I was like I was like, oh, like what outfit should I wear for this? Blah blah blah. But like this is like the first time I put on multiple pieces of clothing before deciding what to wear, and like I just like cannot. And makeup, like a sensory thing, like I just I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it. So I respect you for putting makeup on. So we started to like talk about this earlier when you're talking about Chris, your lovely husband. How do you think your perception of your own body impacts your relationship with other people?
I think it used to be really detrimental. You know, it's like I still struggle with this. Like any sort of compliment, like I'm just instantly like, don't do that. You know, it's like I've never been able to accept when someone said like, oh, you look beautiful, you know, because especially for the longest time, I was like, there's absolutely no way I could ever be beautiful, you know? So I think like having that, you know, like on that scale of like me versus you for my body, you know, like I hated it. I hated how it looked. I hated everything about our relationship. And so like in terms of other relationships, whoever it was, whether it was my husband or anyone else, if they said anything positive about me, I was instantly like, absolutely no. Nope. And so I would generally just not even respond. Like, not even say thank you, not even refute it, you know, just like, just a no. But again, I feel like now I'm at a stage where I can accept my body a lot more. I'm trying to love it every day, but it's a journey. And I can, like, appreciate the fact that, like, my husband has always loved it, you know, and, like, regardless of what it's looked like, he's always, always, always said, you're beautiful. Whether I'm, like, looking like a swamp monster or I'm dressed up, whether I have my hair done or my makeup done or not, you know, so, like, finally I feel like I'm listening to him when he says it. Half the time I still want to, like, cringe right away, but, you know, we're working on it.
We're working on it, even if that's the initial.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, we're not doing that, and...
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Like, still a work in progress.
Yep. Like, today, when I was getting my hair done and my eyebrows waxed, the lady was like, your eyelashes are amazing. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And I was like, you know what? I've been thinking that lately. Yes. Like, I thought they've been looking longer and fuller. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe it's my hydration. Like, my eyelashes are getting good. And she goes, yeah, they are. You know, and it just felt so good to, like, again, in any relationship or, you know, just someone to say, hey, I like this about you. And then for me to be like, yeah, you know, like.
I feel like it's so much easier to accept compliments from girls. Like,
I mean, that is definitely, I feel like a factor.
Definitely easier. Because then, like, I'm probably thinking something nice about them, so, like, I'm going to say right back. But I know the glasses chain is not working. He's getting all up in that. I know again, talked with my therapist at one point about, like, how me being super judgmental of myself definitely impact. Like, I was definitely judgmental of other people too, and I didn't want to be, but like, it was just the same way I was seeing myself, I was seeing other people, and that's not cool, man. No. So
I've noticed that, like, a lot lately, where like I've, like, changed the way I look at other people. So I'd say I'm still judgy, unfortunately, but then I, like, again, like you say, there's, like, the initial thought, and then, like, the, like, reverse thinking about it. You know, like, taking that moment to be like, you know, wow, like, she's got some cellulite and she's at the pool. And I'm like, but yeah, she has the confidence to walk around looking like that. There's nothing wrong with looking like that. You know, like.
Sometimes you just a girl needs pool time.
Yeah.
Girl needs pool time.
Yeah, get out there.
Get out there. So now we've gone from the more, you know, negative sides. So what makes you happiest in your body?
Great question. I mean, I feel like it goes either one of two ways, where, like, I feel really, really, really good about my body, like, dressing up and getting my hair done and doing makeup and everything. But it doesn't always mean that, you know, like, sometimes literally just finding something that makes me feel comfortable, like an outfit that I feel like I don't look like an entire swamp monster, but, like, I'm chilling.
Just a casual
I'm in, like,
bog witch.
Yeah, just casual bog witch. I like that, you know, like, but I'm obviously not trying to impress anybody, you know, but it's just something I can look in the mirror and I can be like, okay, cool, I like it. And then, like, I can also be comfortable. Yes. And my body feels comfortable. I don't feel restricted and, like, bras strangling and straps and things up your who knows what, you know, like. So one of two ways, either cool and comfortable and just, like, feeling at home in my body, or, like, dressing it up, because, you know, I don't think you have to, but I feel like it can feel empowering to be kind of glammed.
Yeah, no. And I'm definitely with you on that too. Like, I'm, like, neurodivergent to the point where if I don't feel like I would be comfortable wearing the thing that my Animal Crossing character is wearing, I can't put it on my Animal Crossing character. If I'm like, I need to be comfy, cozy. Like, I cannot be wearing, like, the princess dresses in it, because I'm like, she wouldn't like that either. Yeah. And, like, my body changes every day, like, what texture it's going to be okay with me wearing. So that's why I have, like, one of each texture in my closet. And I'm like, oh, this one, it needs to be, you know, a leggings day, or it needs to be, like, a cotton day, or it needs to be, like, a nylon day. But, like, I cannot do tight clothing. I do not like it. Yeah. It makes me uncomfortable. Not a fan. So this is, like, the most uncomfortable clothing I, like, own. Because I've had to wear, like, super fancy clothing for, like, my husband's work has, like, a gala I have to go to. It's, like, delightful and wonderful. Again, free alcohol. And I do like his coworkers a lot. It's just, like, I don't want to be wearing this. Yeah. And, like, I can throw on a really, really pretty dress for my client closet, because I know I'm going to wear it for 5 minutes and then take it off. Yeah. That is, like, the extent of my fanciness. Yeah. So what has helped you heal parts of yourself that you feel like has been most impacted by, like, those insecurities and that self-hatred and that self-deprecation?
Therapy.
Yeah.
100%. So I know, like, Me and my therapist are like best friends now. So like sessions are probably not as productive as they need to be anymore. But the initial stuff, we did a lot of work. We did a lot of just like introspection and like just like sitting and thinking. You know, I just feel like that's like super important because you can have a goal of wanting to be better, you know, but like you have to like name it and confront it, and like it's not just like I'm gonna go to therapy and I'm gonna be happier and like love myself. Like that's not a thing. Nice. So kind of just like setting some goals with her and saying like, what do I want to accomplish, and then just like letting that sit for a minute. You know, it's not like she can instantly just say the cure is. So you know, nice. That's not it's not a thing. But having someone kind of listen to me, validate like the journey so far versus like where I want to be, you know, like I just feel like that's so, I don't know, it just creates a peace that allows you to then kind of move forward and do that self-work of kind of just, again, every moment that you encounter something like, wow, this dress makes me look fat, you know, okay, I'm thinking that about myself, but what do I like about it? Or okay, maybe this is not the dress for me, you know, like...
But it's the dress's fault, it's not my fault.
Yeah, but it's not my fault.
Yeah, it's the dress just doesn't fit me properly, and that's not my fault, because I don't need to fit the dress needs to fit me.
Exactly.
Sure.
There he goes.
That's my ear. I was about to say something like really deep and traumatic, but whatever.
Yeah.
Again, back to high school. Don't like to talk about that. But not just the, you know, athletic side of it, but I was like super, super skinny my freshman year. Like that was probably the worst one. And there was a costume director for the show that I'm in.
The look he has on his face peering out behind your ear is just, oh, it's good. I'm so sorry. Super skinny.
Yes. And the first thing the costume director said to me when she met me was, oh, I like you, you're skinny. Because she could put dresses that couldn't fit literally anyone else on. And so she had a dress that did not match with the show at all. Like, we were doing Urinetown, and like, it was just this like super tight, like red dress that you would not wear because I was one of the poor people.
Oh.
Like, you would not wear. And she had me try it on just because she wanted to see this tiny, tiny dress on someone. And she was like, oh, we'll have to do a show at some point so you can wear this in it. So I had to like stay that weight for my whole high school career just so I could randomly wear this one dress that would never make sense in any show that we did. It was just so weird. Like, I will always remember her, oh, I like you, you're skinny. Like, that was insane thing to say to someone. Like, that is wild.
You're putting the only value on you as to being that small.
It was absolutely crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. Super, super gross. Anyway, that went back to the mean part. What are you most proud of your body for being able to do?
Again, I think just literally healing and like staying with me through this process. Again, it's just been like so crazy to think of like everything I've gone through. I've had like 20 plus surgeries. I mean, I've got scars everywhere, but I like them. Like, I remember like some people were talking to me. They're like, oh, you know, you're getting like surgery. Aren't you going to have a lot of scars on your tummy? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like,
cool.
I
also,
think
how
it's
many
cool.
times are whipping out your tummy? But
I mean, that's, I barely ever show my tummy, but I like it.
Hematomas that
they're almost gone, but there's a few little hematomas still in there, and it's just
because they were big little ones.
They were. I had one that was like that big. Large. It's like you poke it, and it's like a rock in there, and I'm like, oh god. So it's a little scary. But the fact that my body's been able to do all these things, I mean, I've endured a lot of shit, even just the past few months, you know. And the fact that I can like look back and say, oh, I had a PICC line there go into my like freaking heart, you know, like. That's cool. You know, so it's like, I like it. I like that there's like a story of scars and like...
And there's a cool thing you do whenever one of your dogs gives you a scar, you get a tattoo of them on that scar.
Yes.
Just super cool. I would need to get one. The most prominent one I have is right here from Little Miss Aloy Bob Aloy being a noodle head.
Yes.
With their little behavioral issues. And this one, I've got this one, and then there's one like on my leg. This one is... That's been here for a very long time, but like this one I thought was gonna go away and it didn't because it wasn't I didn't think it was as deep as it was, but, so I'll have to get a little hand tattoo.
Little aloe nose, or like,
we'll get the little aloe snoop.
Cute.
Because I've considered getting, like, tattooed on here, just, like, saying, like, just patience, because she is very much
has tested your patience a little bit, but
for a very, very long time. She has very severe behavioral problems, but we've worked on it, and there have been times where, like, I do not know if we can keep you, which was, like, crazy to me, because like I was like, that's your family, you never get rid of them, but like it was like a safety issue, like with our other animals, but made it through.
Oh, she's so cute.
She is so
girl.
cute when she's sweet when she feels like it.
Yes.
And she's gotten a lot better, and we have like, you know, our Tetris of like where the animals go and everything, but like she has very much taught me patience.
Yeah. I feel like with all of our dogs being rescues, they all have had their own things and territorial behavior. 4 dogs is one house is crazy. 4 dogs is crazy. Yeah, no, it definitely taught me a lot about like food guarding issues and territory and like safe spaces, and I don't know, I feel like
which is like helped me.
That's what I was about to say.
Spaces too.
It helps you learn a lot, because, you know, like one of our girls, Callie, she's just very particular about everything, and I'm like, you know what? You go, girl. Like, you're vocalizing, like, hey, I'm not okay with you in my space right now.
Yeah, no.
Like, we need to do that too. Like,
yeah, and when we took her to the shelter, because they do, like, training if, like, they're being a bad girl. So we took her back to, not to get rid of her, but she went to bad girl training. But they were like, if she is, you know, because she's also on Prozac. So, like, getting a dog for your anxiety, and she has worse anxiety than you.
100%!
Yeah,
100%.
but they were like, if she is, you know, overwhelmed by something, that is going, and she's overwhelmed by something the next day, those are going to piggyback on top of each other until, like, those cortisol levels are just, like, super high, and, like, so then, like, the smallest thing can set her off. Yeah. Because, like, she only has, like, this much patience, and if, like, this scary thing happens, then she's here, and if something else happens, she's here. But so if you get to here, she's gonna, even if it's just the smallest thing that sets you over. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like me too.
That is, I think that's everybody. You know, we all have our different thresholds, but like every little stressor in your life, whatever it may be, you know, you could get one bad email and then life is over.
Emails. Yeah, I'm trying to think about the silliest thing that has ever set me off. It's like, it had to be something absolutely ridiculous. I can't think of it right now. I'll probably think of it later. But
yeah, I mean, it could be dumb stuff sometimes. Like, don't leave your socks by the back door. Like, just why? Why are your socks by the back door? Like, it's just dumb and little, and takes 2 seconds to move them, but it can be a thing sometimes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and I definitely feel like I can get set off more if I get really hot. I'm just like, no more things can bother me.
Hangry Sara.
Hangry. Oh, she's
not
scary.
She's very scary.
Yeah, same here. So when you were talking about what you want to do for this session, because we've done a couple at this point.
Yeah. Basically a pro.
Basically. She has her sexy RBF, like, nailed. So you wanted something a little more casual this time, which, you know, I'm all about. And it's, like, nice outside, so I've got, like, a bunch of different things to have, like, nice little casual setups, and it's going to be, like, very flowery and, like, that kind of thing. So I love me some flowers. And maybe we'll see if Ken wants to do some peacocky things, because he was displaying when I went out earlier, and I did put up the bug nets for you. I did put up the mosquito traps.
You know who gives me body positivity? Them mosquitoes. They love me. They love my body, so I should too.
I have a photo from last year where there is a mosquito on your hand when it's on your face. I had to edit it out because you ordered that photo, but I have the unedited version. There's literally a mosquito on your hand. So we're going to go hang out with the mosquitoes and still have bug spray if you want to. But we'll see if Ken wants to pixie anticipate. But when I was out there putting up the mosquito stuff, he was being sexy. Yeah. It is still sexy time for Ken.
Very nice.
So let's go have some sexy time with Ken. Did I hit record on this one?
Yep.
Okay. I'm a professional. So you have done this with me before, but that was pre-second bariatric surgery.
Very true.
So, how did it feel? And we definitely did more uncovered stuff than last time.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say, regardless of like the surgeries and stuff, I feel like that was more
like,
I'm in the forest in underwear. Like that was like the breeze on my butt, you know. It's like
felt good. It was very toasty.
It was very toasty. No, so the breeze was good.
Almost took my butt out. So I could all be naked. Have you seen that meme where it's like, oh, the photographer's like, oh, are you comfortable with nudity? And the person's like, yes, and then it's the photographer.
I have not.
Oh, I'm sending to you.
That almost became a thing.
It's very funny.
But I'd say that was like more impactful, like different. Like, because at first I was just like, this doesn't feel normal. But then honestly, by the end, I was like, can I just stay in like, you know,
it's very comfy, cozy.
And stuff.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
And then Justin's walking around with power tools, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, live your life, babe. Live your life. So, what was the most prominent emotion you felt during the session, like, overarching?
I mean, I feel like empowered is definitely a good one. Yeah.
That is a good emotion.
I don't know. Again, by the end, it just felt like a lot more comfortable, too. Yes. You know, so I feel like this was also a journey. Like, okay, it's a little scary, but it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. We're doing good. And again, you're a professional at this point, because, like, how many times have I taken photos of you? Quite a few. So what was your favorite part of the session? And obviously, other than Ken screaming and trying to get horny in the background. He was watching me and Justin, like, trying to, like, shove Ken through the hole. That doesn't sound good.
That was a very good part. The shovel and the ladder.
Yes, trying to get him in there. He was very confused about.
Corral a peacock. That is a first for me. I've never watched that specifically.
Valid.
That's fun.
Valid.
But
that's fun for you.
In terms of me, I mean, I love photo shoots, like changing outfits, getting to kind of plan different things, and then like trying things out, you know, because it's like, I know, since I've done this before, like, you do a pose and you're like, this feels
weird.
Super weird. And then, like, you see the end result, and then that's, like, super, like, oh.
I am sexy. No. Yeah, because Justin is, like, my second shooter for, you won't know that, obviously, because you've third shot with us, so you've seen. But, he is good at all, like, the technical elements of photography, but posing people breaks him out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because he doesn't have that eye for that stuff. And I have, if I'm taking self-portraits and I'm not just doing it by myself, I'll typically just use a remote, do it myself. But if it's, like, a thing that I need help with, I will tell him exactly what the pose is and make him do it and show him the framing I want and take a picture of him. So that one photo of me in the snow with the crown on, I have a matching just
Why has this not been released? That is the content I need.
Yes. He's very sexy.
Please tell me he was also in the red.
He was not. I don't think his titties would. Although he does love wearing my clothes, and they always look better on him than they do on me, which is just plain rude. It's like how men have like nicer eyelashes. It's just rude. So, are you ready to see your photos? So, okay. So we are going to. I think you've done it this way before. You're familiar with pixie cut, so that's yours. You know. So we're gonna go through.
Well, I wasn't expecting my ass right away, but hey, there it is.
There it is. It's got bokeh, so it's like it's a hide-in. So we're just gonna go through, and you're just gonna react, and then we have to pick the one photo for your metal print. So just one. So heart anyone's you super love, but just kind of like go through and
that's a lot of pressure. How many are there? So I have a frame of reference.
I think there's like 130.
If I heart 130, then that's like,
you know, live your life, do your thing.
I feel like I need an initial pass through. And then
gotta do the initial, like get your bearings, get your
titties.
Yes. The titties, they are, and this was before I was like, hey, by the way, one of your titties all the way out. I didn't see nip, but it was about as close as we could get.
It was close.
But, you know, I've seen nips before. It's all good. Mm.
Oh my gosh, look at me.
I know, you're so cute.
Definitely feel like I was smiling a lot more in this.
Yes. No. We pulled out the RBF a little bit, but like, no, it was mostly happy smiles, which was what you were... the body you were going with, the carefree. And like you doing Baywatch outside. It was definitely carefree. With Justin singing in the background.
We just set that to the music provided by Justin.
But unfortunately, I don't think either of us has ever seen Baywatch, so we didn't know what the music was supposed to sound like.
But it felt like there needed to be music. Like some dramatic, like slow-mo.
Oh, I do have some silly ones, and not in here. I forgot to add them in, but I'll have to show you later.
Gotcha. That looks good. See, I thought my boobs would look like pancakes from this angle, so that's good. At least they're not like...
but you know, if that's what they wanted to do, that's what they wanted to do. And then I have, like, from the side where we, that one, those did not get included, but the side scooches. The side squishes.
Hey, if someone says squeeze your boobs, I'm gonna...
Yep, just grab them. Just grab them. How widely has your, like, bra size changed over the years? Like, because I went from an A to a D in 1 year, and in one school year. Yeah. And when I went to college, and I wore the A's the whole time. Because I, like, didn't have a car, so I couldn't go and buy, and I didn't do online shopping or anything like that, so I was like, this is normal, this is fine.
Oh, no. Interesting. So for me, I've always, like, avoided traditional bras. Like, I've just decided...
you're like
I love, like, a sports bra or, like, something, like, loose, you know, like... It's
bralette type
thing. Bralette, yeah. So I couldn't tell you what my cup size is.
So you're, like, a small, medium, large kind of gal.
Yeah, except it's always been 2X, 3X kind of gal. But I remember the last time I tried to buy like a traditional bra, probably like senior year of college or whatever, I had just such a hard time because I have such a wide back.
Yeah,
so it like didn't matter what these were.
The cup size were, it was just the band size wasn't
C or you know like maybe D.
It was the band
but
size,
like it was the band size. I was just like, I need your largest, please.
But then you don't have the titties. Yeah, it's like me when I was like super small, doing pant shopping because like I was like super small, but like I had high waters all the time because not only am I 6 feet, my legs are just like disproportionately long because my dad is just a string bean, so a 6'5" string bean.
I hate clothing because it's like, well, I need it here, but you're giving it me here. And I just...
No, and men, like, have exact sizes on their jeans. Like, oh, this is a literal measurement that, like, means something.
38 by 40. Like, this by this. Boom. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, I need this by this.
I need this in the thigh measurement. And, no, it's, like, so stupid.
I really like this one just because it literally just looks joyous.
Yes.
Like, that's just, like, I don't know what I'm laughing about, but...
This was directly after the titties.
Yeah. Oh, the titty flowers.
The titty flowers.
Oh, that is funny.
And that's with our antique type thing.
Oh, okay, so I see the difference.
Yeah.
So it's like the more...
No, and like...
sepia, but like...
Yeah.
Kinda.
No, like that hazy type thing, but I do not... I originally was having buyer's remorse with the camera because I was like, I don't need a new one, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, oh, these are so crispy.
Literally, I'm just like,
they're so crispy. They're crispy. So I'm like, no more regrets.
Yeah. Titty flowers.
Titty flowers.
That is the name. Now the photo. Titty flowers.
Dot would love to call them titty flowers. That's exactly what she would call them. Beautifulness.
It is moody though. It's
Well, hazy.
Oh, and then the belly. Belly shot.
Belly.
And my little stretch marks.
I love them. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
See, I've like never thought of having a photo of my belly.
That,
you know,
no, because like it's like, oh, only pregnant people get to have belly photos.
Yeah.
So like, we should all have belly photos.
Yeah. God, it's like so weird to think like that's just me.
That's just you hanging out. The teddies flippy flapping flying in the breeze.
And like, if that wasn't me, I'd be like, oh, she looks comfortable. You know, like, but it's me, so I know, like, at the moment, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of scary. This is scary.
You did it. It is real scary. And you know the deal was these are soft proofs, not like official. So like with the peacocks, I was not going to edit out the lovely chain link. And these, I tried to do a quickie dicky little thing, and it did not do what I wanted it to do.
See, this is looking real close. Just some
it is
titty
right
popping.
On the edge.
The cusp of titty.
That's what I said. It was falling out, but as close to falling out as you could get without
big
knops joining the party.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is a good way to be, in my opinion. And we got the Miss Bailey tattoo hanging out.
She's been with me through hundreds of pounds of weight gain and loss and everything. So, oh baby. See, like it just looks peaceful. Like what? I don't know. That just seems so bizarre to me.
Yeah, and little does the camera know that we heard
in the background. To the sound of peacock noises, this photo shoot occurred.
Horny peacock noises, one might say.
Horny peacock.
He's in a mood. Yeah, no, Ken was in a mood, and Boobsy was in a mood. Like, everyone was just feeling very horny and upset about the worlds because they're all sharing horny times.
Yeah.
But she got over herself.
And the tattoo looks good.
Yeah, I love the stingrays. Because that's the one matching with your mom and your sister.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, you know, if I wasn't in a bra and underwear, like, this could be my new LinkedIn profile picture. I'm looking so fancy.
Oh, yeah. I'm a professional.
I'm a professional.
And I just crop it right here. You do not see my titties. No, sir. No, sir.
Just slap on a fake t-shirt.
Not a singular titty. This happened here.
No.
None whatsoever. I won't tell LinkedIn if you don't. See, a little bit of RBF. Yeah. A little bit.
Love it.
Just gotta sneak it in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, she's stretching.
Big
First reaction. Ooh, that's a big stretch.
Yeah, that's a big stretch. Ayla's always the one doing the big stretch.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever seen those videos where people like stretch out their dogs like by grabbing like the back legs and letting their dogs get like a deeper stretch?
No.
We've done it with Winston.
Really?
Yeah. Ayla does not like it. She is not stretchy in that way.
Oh.
She cannot handle. She gets #concerned.
Yeah. Wow. Naked in a garden.
As one does.
Getting in touch with nature.
You've never watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was going to make a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference. The one guy who, he ends up marrying the person he's making fun of. But whenever she says something, he goes, title of your sex tape. And when he's naked alone in the garden, I was like, title of your sex tape.
This is like so bizarre.
And because the last one, it was like witchy, so it was like more costumey, and especially we literally had a costume mask on at one point for the stabby one. Yeah. So, but this one is
and
like,
a ghost sheet.
Yeah, and the boudoir.
I thought it was so clever.
But this is like, this is just you.
It's me.
Like,
I can't hide behind a mask.
No.
Or a sheet.
No. We brought neither of those things.
No.
Neither of them.
That is so weird. And I don't look miserable. And I don't feel miserable looking at it.
That's always good. Now we're into the artsy fartsy shit.
Breaking through a mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
My English degree wasn't a waste.
Symbolism.
My student loans mean something. That's what I keep telling myself. My one friend will say, like, Sarah, that sentence has never been said before, or, like, she's like, I think you just created a new sentence, or those words are not in the Bible, and I was like, I like to do that at least once a week, otherwise I'm like, well, what the fuck are my student loans for?
Yeah.
And then I want to keep that one in.
You said they were taken.
I thought they were. I forgot that one.
That is. I can make some faces. They're just not.
Still not as good as the, oh, I should not have done
that. Don't do that on camera.
You know what I mean. Champagne one.
Ooh, what's the title of that sex tape? That one's gonna go down in history.
Yeah, and Crystal's like, oh, I need a copy of that. And I was like,
No.
I do not. I am not giving you that.
Do not sign consent to share that photo.
I never said that you could have that. I owe you nothing. I was like, oh, just ask Sarah. Knowing full well you are not going to share it.
Oh,
because he would do mean, evil things.
Probably.
Rude.
Probably print it and put it on top of our ceiling for me to stare at every night.
Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't tell you until you went to bed, and then
Yeah,
you'd
then
just be
just,
like,
it's there.
Don't
Wow,
stop.
he was in front one time?
Yeah, he went across one time.
Oh, there
but
he
yeah,
is.
like pretend like
The chain link.
the chain link isn't.
Yes.
The secret. And then none of them were there. There were a lot of just chicken ones. Mm-hmm.
The pop of the purple. I was like, oh. And the water? Oh.
Now we just need to go like a big band, like get your hair like in the background.
This is just, I don't know, it's like
Yeah,
weird.
right. Good weird.
Good weird. Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've actually gotten to this point where, like, I like my little cum toe.
Yes, it's so freaking cute.
My little tummy.
It's so cute. Yeah.
It's cute. That, I just look so happy.
Yeah, I know. I should have Justin sing at all my sessions.
That's what it was. It was his singing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearting this one now.
Yeah.
I don't even need to come back.
I love that one.
Oh, Jesus.
Put your email in.
I gotta put my email in. With my fake nails. We'll see if I can do this. My $5 Walmart nails.
Gotta get your
They
phone.
never let me down. They last at least as long as I need them for. Well, I don't know. I lost one time.
No, when we were doing the beach photo shoot, you only had one left, so you only did this. So when we did that one like years ago,
like I think that's when I first met you. Yeah.
We just had the one left by the end, and so you were just like,
here's my one nail.
Do what you gotta do. It was worth getting me flash wet.
There you go. Whoa. The flash looked like the sun. So I was like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. If you could say something to 11-year-old Sarah, what would you tell her?
Gosh. Well, I don't want to be cliche and say it gets better.
I mean,
but
it does.
I mean,
11-year-old is not the peak. I promise.
Yes. Good Lord. Good Lord. I would just say, what's that other saying? Like, grow through what you go through. Kind of like, it ends up being worth it. You know, 'cause I feel like in the moment, kind of like we talked about earlier, like it just feels so heavy and hard, and you have to make that conscious decision to keep going through it and get to a point.
Because like there are some points it's like you just can't go past this. Like like I will never be able to recover for this.
There's just a mental wall, you know.
Yeah.
And so I feel like 11-year-old Sarah was about to go through it, you know. And so I think, you know, I just want her to know, like, you can survive this. Like, you are capable of so much more than you think you are. And it is going to get better.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard.
Buckle the fuck up.
Yeah.
But
Beep, beep. Here we go.
You can't hop on the bus. You can't get off of it. I want to go on the bus and deal with it. You're going on the bus.
And it's going off a fucking cliff, probably, but you survive.
You do. If you could say something to someone out there who's like watching this and is like, damn, I wish I could take another step in my self-love journey like this badass bitch did today, what would you say to them?
I would just say, why aren't you already doing it? You know, like, what is holding you back? You know, kind of like, again, you have to kind of self-reflect, like, why am I not doing things that could be bettering myself or making me happy or pushing my boundaries? But again, that's like the only way we do grow. Is like, you gotta be uncomfortable sometimes. You gotta let the wind breeze over your ass. Like, it could be scary, but then it's like, oh shit, this is
I
like,
did it.
This is
and no one has to take pictures of you while you let the breeze
just go out there.
Just go out. Like, you don't need a photographer to be there with you when you just let the breeze on your ass.
Exactly.
But so everyone's.
I was literally like, this is nice. I get why people like lay out and tan now. Like, I've never been a tanning person.
I'm just imagining you doing that in your backyard while like all your dogs are out there, just being like, hey, what you doing? Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. So maybe not the best idea to wear lingerie in the backyard with the dogs, because there would be multiple noses up there. There would be more than just wind.
For noses. Yeah. No, which one do you think would be most up your ass?
Juno.
100%.
She is a crotch and ass lady. Like,
hey, we all gotta have our things.
All orifices.
Yeah, Bailey feels more like a boob kind of gal. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
She, especially the paws, she loves to just boop them on up there.
Boop them on up there.
Juno, whoop, up. up inside.
Well, you gotta live out of that with Aloy because she also, like, I mean, you could have a bomb in your vagina. Like, that's a really...
She has to check.
Just gotta check. It's very important. And I understand that there's no context for that. But she's gotta do a sniff inspection to, like, check in on everything. Alright, so we're gonna turn off the camera so you can, like, actually go through and not have to be like, oh, I'm performing, look at my stuff. But, thank you so much for joining us for our first one. I can't imagine anyone else being our first one, so. Yay! I hope you had a good time and it wasn't horrible.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Don't do this. If you see this, run away.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Love Looks Like This Project. If you want to support the project, you can do so for free by subscribing, watching more episodes, sharing this episode with your friends, and following us at all the links in the description. If you really want to support us, we have really pretty merch, art prints, and even a donation link with details with upcoming investments we plan to make on this project. And if you really, really want to support us by telling your story in an episode, make sure you join our self-love group on Facebook, as they always are the first to know about upcoming opportunities and will be the first to know when applications reopen. Please know that you are loved, you are irreplaceable, and beauty is not a price you have to pay to take up space on this earth.